I'd like to call the September meeting of Upstate Republic of Women to order, please. Ruth Templeton will give our invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for all that you have done for us, for the privilege that we have to be Americans. Thank you, Lord, for those who have gone before us and establishing those freedoms. Thank you for those who serve today to continue those freedoms. And I pray, Lord, that you would bless and protect our military as they're in harm's way every day. And I pray, Lord, that you would protect those Americans that are in the Middle East that are involved with embassies or perhaps students or whatever their function. Lord, give them protection. Lord, give peace to this region, and I pray that the unrest would soon be settled. Give wisdom and discernment to our leaders who handle our involvement there, and help us to pray for them daily. Lord, help us as Americans to realize the need for the protection of our country and the protection of Americans. Help us to take this seriously. And I pray, Lord, for our leaders of our country and for our local government, that you would bless them. Lord, give them wisdom and discernment. Help them to make right decisions. Help us as Americans to be ready to vote these coming few weeks, and help us to make the right decision in this very important election. Lord, bless our food as we eat today, and I thank you for our speaker, and I pray that you would be with us as we go throughout the rest of this day. In Jesus' name, amen. We would stand, and we will pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I'm kind of excited about this. This is a last-minute thing, so I get to introduce Tim Nanney today. Tim Nanney is the Register of Deeds for Greenville County. He has served there 8 years, and he is up for re-election this year. But prior to coming to being elected with the county, Tim worked for U.S. Airways for 13 years. And about 14 years ago, we moved back to Greenville. He has a lovely wife. 5 beautiful children, and a new son-in-law as of this summer, so our family continues to grow. But Tim's real focus in all of his career has been customer service, working with the airline, and then he worked for Verizon for a little while. But his strength has always been customer service and making the people that come in and use his office, wherever it may be, that they feel welcome and feel like they are getting the assistance they need. And I think often in government offices, we go into the DMV or the tax office, and you just get this horrible feeling like you're just imposing upon them. And Tim has really taken his office and made it a friendly place to be and a friendly place to work, and very customer service oriented to the customer. So I won't say much more. I don't want to steal his thunder, but he has done a great job, and it's my privilege to introduce Tim Nanney.
I have a joke to tell. We were somewhere at a conference, and we were talking about getting legislation passed, and I was telling them about we've got this bill passed to allow electronic reporting in South Carolina. And this guy turned to me and says, "How in the world do you have such a good relationship with the House of Representatives?" I said, "Well, I sleep with my representative." so anyway, as the Register of Deeds, we do a lot of polling of the citizens to find out what they're interested in, what they like, what they don't like, and we've been this thing will boot up. It's coming on. We've been got moved. We've gotten some. We've gotten some feedback and we've tabulated the data that we received from the voters, and we created some charts and graphs that I want to share with you today. First of all, we polled 1,000 men in Greenville County and asked them what the possibilities were if that they were wrong. And if she won't talk to you, there's about a 50% chance that you're wrong. She seems a little bit sad, you got a little better chance. But if she says there's nothing wrong, there's a 100% chance that you did something wrong. Now we polled 1,000 women in Greenville County, and we got the following responses what is the probability that you'll be right in your relationship? And if you're single, pretty much 100% chance that you're right. And as you can tell, when you're in a relationship, you have about a 50% chance of being right. Once you're married, it's zero. And then this is my personal favorite. We polled women and men on this one. And what is the first thing that you do with your brand new phone? Well, about 2% of the population test the camera on their new cell phone. And then another 2 or 3%, they set the time or date, and a few try the music player. But about 90% of the people that we polled, the first thing they do with their new cell phone is drop it. What is the ROD? Who are we? What do we do? Some of our achievements and our goals. I always start out with this slide because this is the team that makes the ROD tick. I'm very proud of these ladies. They are probably the best registered deeds office in the state. I get that comment frequently from attorneys and abstractors that travel around the state. We have the best office, and that's not me bragging on me, because 90% of these ladies were here before I got here. They genuinely care about their job. It's vitally important when you're keying in information for an index that you put the information in accurately. And a lot of times, a lot of counties, the people that are keying it in just don't care. They're there watching the clock. These ladies genuinely care about doing their job right. And most importantly to me, they care about their customers. They genuinely are concerned about the customers. Any customer can walk in and talk to any of these ladies, and they'll drop what they're doing and try to help them get what they need. So why is the Register of Deeds office important? When I was recruited to run for Register of Deeds, I didn't actually have any idea what it did. I knew it was something related to property records, but really didn't know what the function was. Basically, for those of you who don't know, the Register of Deeds is important to you because if you buy a house, you want to know that that house is unencumbered, that there's not a lien against it, there's not a second mortgage against it that you didn't know about when you bought the house. That's why the law requires that all documents related to a property transaction be recorded in the county so that the records are public. And that's why it's important that we key the names in, the buyer and the seller, accurately. We warranty that information. We actually have a system in place that blind keys. One person keys it in, then another person comes in behind and keys that same information in. And if they match, if they're identical, then it's allowed to proceed. If either one of them has even a space or a comma that's different, it's rejected and they have to rekey it. So the purpose of our office is to make sure that property transactions can go on legitimately, that when you buy a house, you know that you're getting that house and not, a $100,000 IRS tax lien, that you didn't know about. You can search the public record and know for sure that there's not any liens on your property. This graph depicts the bubble. Everybody's heard about the real estate bubble that happened. You can see the back side of the bubble in 2007 where there were 130,000 documents were recorded, and then it's kind of leveled off. In 2010 and 11, it kind of hit the bottom, and you can see we're starting to trend up. 2012 was good, and in 2013, July and August, we're up about 40% from where we were a year ago in 2012. This is revenue. It shows basically the same thing, but I wanted to point out on this slide the amount of revenue. If you notice that even today, which is half of where it was 5 years ago, but even today the Register of Deeds office is bringing in about $7.5 million. There's only a handful of county offices that are actually profitable, and that's probably not the right word, but that earn more money than they spend. Our office spends roughly $1 million a year with payroll and operational budget, and we bring in about $7.5 million. This is the slide that I'm proudest of as a Republican, is that we've been able to reduce our operating budget by 34% since I took office in 2005. We received about $180,000 a year from the general fund, and every 2-year budget, when we submit a new budget, we've requested less money. They're not like in Washington where they say they're reducing the budget, they're just requesting less of an increase. We actually requested less money each year. Each year we submitted a budget. This year we are operating on $118,000, and we are planning to reduce that again in December when we submit our new budget. We also eliminated 4 full-time equivalents through attrition. This past year we were able to give the auditor's office 2 positions. As our volume of business has gone down, the auditor's office business has gone up. And so we took 2 of our employees, instead of laying them off, we were able to match up positions with the auditor's office and transfer 2 positions at the same pay, the same pay grade. And so they weren't negatively impacted, but the county was able to, instead of keeping 2 positions in our office and adding 2 positions in the auditor's office, we right-sized both offices, saving you, the taxpayers, money. We're really proud of our website. In fact, I put a pin on the table for you to take. It has our web address on it, and I'd like to encourage you to go and look at our website and see how much your neighbor paid for their house. We always get a lot of those. Why do you have the price of my house on the web? Well, because it's law. But really, you can see the deed, mortgages, whatever documents that you want for your house. If you just go and navigate to the search screen, all the documents recorded between 1985 and current are there. You just key in the last name of the person you're looking for and a space, and then the first name. And you pull up power of attorneys, your plat, which is a drawing of your property, dimensions, everything that is relevant to a property transaction is available online. There's a lot of other good information, like the fees, the taxes that are paid on the deed transfer tax. A lot of really good information on the website. If you have questions on navigating, just call our number. It's on the home page, and you can get there from the county website, granvillecounty.org. Just go under elected officials and look up registered deeds. You can get to the website. Some of our achievements, the foundation that we put in place as soon as we got into office was transferring from a mainframe-based system, the old, when I say dumb terminal, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but the old green screens. It was just a monitor that was connected to a computer off in the computer room. We switched from that to a PC-based system, which gave us the ability to control information, which was vital to our office. We could tell a lot more about what we were doing when we had the computer in-house, the PC in-house. It also gave us the ability to import about 25 million pages of documents that were, before we went to the PC-based system, were on microfilm. And by importing those documents into the system, when I took office, we had 21 microfilm readers, and there were typically about 60 people in the office waiting to use those 21 machines. Because a roll of film, only one person could look at that one roll of film at a time. By digitizing those, getting them into the PC, now 1,000 people or 100,000 people can look at that same roll of film. And of course, PCs are far less expensive than microfilm reader printers are. So it's going to the PC-based system saved the county a tremendous amount of money. We're really proud of the fact that we were the first county in the state to do two things. One, accept credit cards for payment. A lot of counties still don't do that, but we try to make things as convenient for customers as we can. And people will come in to record a document and not understand that there's a fee. We've had people come from as far away as Raleigh and Charlotte, Asheville to record a document, get there and they don't have any money, and they can't get money out of the ATM. And so we felt like it was a really good idea to accept credit cards. It's an additional customer service feature. And then we've also were the first county in the state to accept documents electronically. And what that means is that if you have a relationship with the ROD office, a memorandum of understanding, if it would have to be a bank or an attorney, somebody like that, then you can submit documents to us electronically. And what that does for you as an attorney, you don't have to send a representative or go yourself down to County Square, fight traffic, find a parking space, come in the building. It's a lot of wasted time and effort. You can simply enter the information, scan the document, hit submit, and the county gets the document within 30 seconds. We look at it, accept it or reject it. If we accept it, we record it and send you a receipt back. It all takes about 5 minutes. So you can literally, if you're familiar with real estate, you can literally go to the closing and walk away with your recorded mortgage and deed from the closing table. It's really speeded up the process of the real estate transaction. And for the county, I mean, that's a great benefit for attorneys. The county benefits because the studies have shown, and we've done a little bit of this in our own office, but it takes about 8 times as long to record a paper document as it does an electronic document. If you think about getting a piece of paper in an envelope, or somebody walking in and handing you a piece of paper, you have to pull the staples out, and then you have to scan the document, then you have to put the staples back in it, fold it up, put it back in an envelope, and mail it out. All of that takes time that we don't deal with electronic documents. We get it, it's already scanned. We never see a staple or paper clip or an envelope. So it saves the county a whole lot of money and time by electronically recording. Currently, I've kind of been a champion for electronic recording. I was on the Electronic Recording Commission. So I'm a little disappointed to tell you that there are only 5 counties that are electronically recording right now. They are the big counties. About 50% of the population is covered by that. It's Horry County, Beaufort County, Richland, Lexington, and Greenville. And York is going to come online with e-recording by the end of the year. So most of the big counties are e-recording. And we're hoping that with some other things that we're doing, that other counties will come online soon. In 2011, we introduced another customer service feature that we felt like, and we know it's been very popular because about 70% of our customers use it. It's called Scan and Return. Prior to 2011, if you brought a document in our office and gave it to one of the recorders, they would take the document from you and enter some information and then give you a receipt, and you would leave, and you'd either have to come back in 10 days to get your document, or we would mail it to you. Now you walk in, the recorder takes your document, enters some information, scans it, puts the label on it, gives you your recorded document back, so you can leave the office with your document. There's no waiting to get your document back. We call it instant return, and the majority of the attorneys love it. But it's just an option. If you want to come in and, like in the old days, leave your document and come back in a few days and pick it up, you can do that as well. In 2012, we added 5 more years of data to our online database, which is, our goal is to get 40 years on there. Typical residential real estate search requires a 40-year search. And we're at 28 years now. To go backwards literally takes about a year to do a year. and with, with our staffing that we've right-sized, we don't really have the staff to devote a lot of time to the back file. But at any rate, we're only about 12 years from getting there if we just go forward, and everything going forward is being input in the system. Another exciting thing that we just got done this year, the first part of the year, is we started sharing some of our expenses with Lexington County. The state law requires that we put all of our permanent records, which are all of the records that we keep, on microfilm, and which is an expensive proposition. It's either very time-consuming from a personnel perspective, or you have to buy an expensive piece of equipment, which if you see in the bottom right-hand corner, that machine is called an archive writer. And what it does is it pulls documents off of the computer and puts it on the microfilm for us automatically. Like the easy bake oven, you set it and forget it. Well, we set it, and about 45 minutes later, it has 6,000 images on a roll of film. We go pull the film out, send it to Columbia. Well, that machine cost about $80,000, and it cost us about $7,000 a year for maintenance. And we were paying that out of our budget ourselves every year, and we were using it maybe a week a year. So it saves us a ton of money in the long run, but we still didn't feel like we were getting the utilization out of it that we needed. So we started contacting other counties and said, hey, we've got this ability to automate a function that you're probably paying a vendor to do. We can do it for cheaper, so you can save money, we can save money. So Lexington County came on board, and what Lexington pays us to process their film, which we take about 2 days, 2 day hours of my staff, 2 days of my staff's time. They basically pay for the maintenance on that machine, so we've saved the county about $7,000. We actually have a couple other counties that are looking at doing that as well. A lot of counties don't have the way to invest in that. They would love to have it, but they don't have the money to invest the initial investment in the piece of equipment to get started with that. So we have it. Digitally transferring the documents is easy with FTP. So we can get their images and put it on our archive writer very quickly and efficiently, and it basically gives us a free maintenance contract on a very expensive piece of equipment. We're looking at adding Spartanburg County soon. We actually met with their IT department last week, and they're talking about letting us put their images on microfilm as well. We also have a presence now on Facebook. If you use Facebook, it's a great tool, and we update it every week. We put new information out there. We try to stay in contact with our customers, which predominantly are attorneys, but your customers too. If you have a question about our office, if you post something on our Facebook page, we'll respond within 24 hours for sure. And then what are we doing? Well, we're finishing up scanning some of our older documents. Everything that's relevant to a current search is already scanned and on computers. But we have a lot of stuff that goes all the way back to the 1700s that really there's not a value to scanning it other than for historical preservation purposes. I mean, we could get rid of the paper or the microfilm, whatever we have, whatever the other media is. So it's for preservation is why we're scanning it. So we're working on that. We're also, with the help of my legislator again, we were able to get the South Carolina Department of Revenue, require them to record documents electronically with counties that record electronically. You think, well, that's tax liens, that can't be that many. Actually, the South Carolina Department of Revenue is our #1 customer. They submit almost 17% of our documents. Okay, but to give you a perspective, the next closest real estate attorney or bank is 2%. So that's a huge, huge customer for us. And remember I said it's 8 minutes to record a piece of paper versus 1 electronically. We're going to get those 17,000 documents converted from being sent to us on paper to being sent to us digitally. It's going to be a huge impact on our office's operation. And what I'm hoping as a champion for electronic recording is that when other counties that like Anderson County that has, said they're not really interested in e-recording, when they see that the DOR is submitting their huge volume of documents to us electronically, that they'll decide, hey, we want to come on board with e-recording. We're hoping that that's the kind of, it's a chicken and an egg thing for e-recording, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, I talk to attorneys, I say, why don't you e-record? And they say, well, just Greenville County's e-recording. Spartanburg's not doing it, Anderson's not doing it. When those counties start e-recording, I'll come on board. And then I go to Spartanburg County and Anderson County, I say, why don't you guys that register deeds, why don't you e-record? And they say, well, the attorneys aren't asking for it. So hopefully we can force the issue by getting some high volume submitters that are submitting documents electronically, and then that'll encourage the RDs in the other counties to look at that. And that's all I have. Do you have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
That $7 million that you're bringing in, where are those funds coming from? I mean, what are we paying that is going into that?
Well, it's the majority of that are deed stamps, and it's a tax on the transfer of real estate. If you're buying a house, then you will pay the tax for which is what, 3%? 3% it's like a sales tax when you buy or sell a house. The other portion of that are recording fees, which I can proudly say, as a Republican, that South Carolina has, if not the lowest, one of the lowest recording fees in the country. I go to a national association, Property Records Industry Association, and I'm talking to the Register of Deeds in Philadelphia, and where we charge $10 for the first 4 pages, they charge $300.
Good God.
And Philadelphia's not even the highest, but it's South Carolina has significantly lower, even in North Carolina and Georgia, our fees for recording are lower, which basically cover the cost of our office. Is what the recording fees are designed to cover. The tax is to make the people in Columbia happy, but the fees are basically like fees for service, anything else. And our fees have been the same forever. For a long time. That's not a plea for an increase in fees. Any other questions? Yes, Jackie.
Tim, I used to be in the mortgage banking industry and worked for a title insurance company. In South Carolina, what are the rules for making sure that your property is correctly researched and that there aren't any liens on it? I mean, who provides the guarantee for that? Because there aren't any title insurance companies to my knowledge.
Right. South Carolina is what's called an attorney state, and we're frequently reminded of that when we try to give grandma advice on her probate. An attorney might be standing there at the county and at the counter and they'll say, you can't practice law without a license. The attorney is responsible for that at the closing. Now, and what they do is, they have title insurance, but they pay abstractors, typically people that come in our office every day. They're there more than my staff's there, and they come in and they do title searches.
Right.
That's why it's so vitally important that when we key that information in, that it's right. You switch an I and an E in a name, well, the abstractor that's searching for it doesn't see it, so they don't realize, hey, there's a lien on that house. The house goes to closing. The person that bought it all of a sudden starts getting letters from the bank saying you owe money on that second mortgage. So what second mortgage? So, and that happens occasionally. Something will be missed. Not our fault. But occasionally it'll happen, and that's why they have title insurance that covers if a mistake is made like that.
It's just a miracle when you scan the documents. I mean, as far as time is
Right.
concerned, it's would be very handy.
Right. Right. Well, the attorneys really love it because instead of having to pay somebody to come down to County Square and do a title search, in a lot of cases, they have their own paralegals in their office because everything's online now. They can pull it up at their office and do the same thing that they would pay, you know, $200 or $300 just somebody to come to County Square and do. So the attorneys love everything being digital. Occasionally, once in a while, I'll get a call from somebody that's upset that their records are online. You know, my address is online. You know, well, we are very careful to redact Social Security numbers, driver's license numbers, bank account, anything personal information. I mean, other than your address and what you paid for your house. But Social Security number, driver's license number, those things we redact. So that if you pull up a mortgage and that document happened to be in there, it would be redacted. Now, there was a bill passed in 2010, I think, that made it illegal to record a document in the state with a Social Security number on it. So if you bring one in and it's got a Social Security number on it, we're supposed to reject it. You know, just not even take it. Occasionally, the people, these people call that they think that they aren't citizens of the world, and really, and they'll come in and it's funny because they're renouncing their citizenship of the United States, say they don't have to pay their taxes or anything, but they put real big on the document their Social Security number. Well, why do you put that on? But that's another story. Any other questions?
Would you say the tax, the transfer tax, that goes to the state, did you say?
Well, 2/3 goes to the state and 1/3 goes to the county.
Which helps keep your taxes low other than.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, well, we'd like to get half of it, but, you know, Wendy needs a new purse.
Stuck in the middle.
Anything else? Any other questions? It's our privilege to serve you at the county, and if there's ever anything you need, just come by our office. Look, Sharon Coker is my deputy. She runs the office. She does an outstanding job, and she can take care of anything that you need. If I'm not there, if I'm there, let me know. Give me a call. Did you put my card on there too?
It has our number.
Yeah, it's got our number on that pin. And those pins actually for like 18-cent pins, they really write pretty good. All right. Thank you.